Bond. James Bond.
My name's Bond. James Bond. Miss...
My name's Bond. James Bond.
Bond. James Bond. Exercise Control 007.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
A select group have played 007 on the big screen. The most recent was Daniel Craig, who finished his fifth and final movie in 2021. Since then, there's been plenty of discussions on who should take on the role next.
In his new book, The Search for Bond, How the 007 Was Won and Lost, Robert Sellers looks at how the role of James Bond was cast and the men who almost played him.
And Robert joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good to have you with us. I mean, what luck for the producers that the very first Sean Connery seemed to work out pretty well. I believe somewhat of an unknown actor at the time. How did they land him and how did they get that right?
Well, it's interesting to note, actually, that the very first James Bond on screen was actually an American actor. Back in 1956, CBS did a television adaptation of Casino Royale, and Barry Nelson played Secret Agent James Bond. So actually, it's a good Trivial Pursuit question. The first Bond was actually Barry Nelson, an American, would you believe? But in the end, I think they landed the perfect choice with Sean Connery. He was, I think, the right choice, particularly because they were looking for someone who could appeal to an American audience, an international audience. The Bond producers, of course, were American, one American, Cubby Broccoli, Harry Saltzman, Canadian. So they were looking not for an English aristocratic type of actor like David Niven or Trevor Howard. They were looking for more of a ballsy, American type, tough, blue-collar type of actor. And Sean Connery fitted the bill perfectly.
And they, speaking of Americans, they offered it to a bunch of huge American stars over the years. And it seems like all of them said, you know, you really should have someone British doing this. Am I right?
Very much so. I think Clint Eastwood was offered the role, and he sort of said that, no, it's Sean's gig. You know, it's Sean Connery plays James Bond, I don't. And people like Adam West, and Robert Wagner, they all came back and said, look, I'm going to get really pillared in the press, and then the British press are really going to go to town on me, and the fans won't like an American coming in and playing Bond, so they sort of backed out.
Yeah, it's a tough act to follow, and Roger Moore was doing The Saint, which seemed like a natural fit, but really taking it very much in a different direction, and yet it still somehow worked.
Yes, I think each actor perfectly encapsulates the period where he's cast. I think Sean was perfect for the sort of the swinging 60s, and I think when Roger came in the 70s, more of a tongue-in-cheek flavour to the series, a lot more jokey, a lot more sort of escapism, and I think Roger was perfect for that. And then Timothy Dalton in the 80s, and then Pierce, and Daniel Craig, of course, was perfect for the 2000s, a more realistic, down-to-earth type of Bond. So I think each of the Bond actors have been perfect for the time in which they were chosen, which makes it a very difficult decision now about what kind of actor they go with for the period we're in.
Well, before I ask you that, let me ask you about the one really good story about Lazenby, who was like a one-off, who literally had no experience and just sort of walked in and got the job somehow.
Well, there's a wonderful story. He was wanting to be Bond. Connery had left the role, and George was an Australian male model, one of the most successful male models in the world, and he wanted the Bond gig. And he found out where Connery had his hair cut, and it was in the barber shop in the Dorchester Hotel. So he went there one afternoon to get the Sean Connery cut, and sat next to him was the Bond producer, Cubby Broccoli.
Wow.
When George left, Broccoli said to the barber, that guy would make a good James Bond. Not knowing that about a week later, he walked into his office and said, here I am, take me or leave me. And he had a screen test, and they went for him, which is an amazing thing, because you're right, he'd never made a movie. He'd never even stepped in front of a camera, would you believe it?
Wow.
His part as James Bond, you know, that was his first role on film. And it was I think he did a good job as well.
It was a good job. It was a good movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the fans love it. For many people, it's their favorite. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the people who might be getting James Bond in the next film. We have a couple of names that have been tossed around. What are they, Larry?
Henry Cavill, I know. I'm not really familiar with these other actors. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Theo James, Callum Turner. Any thoughts on these or any others you might have?
I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson was being rumoured in the British press very heavily a few months ago, but then we had this amazing thing where the Bond producers sold the Bond rights to Amazon. So all bets are off now. We don't know what Amazon are going to do. Are they going to do a Bond movie? Are they going to do a type of Netflix type of mini series with Bond? Are they going to be offshoot Bond, young Bond?
Yeah.
Period movies where they take Bond back to the 50s. So we could have more than one person playing Bond at the same time. Who knows, on television and movies.
Do you worry that they'll water it down like Star Wars?
Good question. I think that's what the fans are worried about. As soon as this was announced, the Marvel situation and Disney with Star Wars, people are worried because Bond is sort of an unreconstructed male chauvinist, isn't he? And if you take that away from him, I think you lose a lot of the essence of the character. Of course, you've got to. You have to be aware of the situation, the period we're living in, the time, the political atmosphere as well. But I think it would be nice to do a parallel Bond and have him in the 60s where you could be a little bit sexist and a bit more male chauvinist in a way, and sort of cater for the hardcore Bond fans, and then make a movie for the current cinema audience, which is a lot more sort of relevant to what people would expect a modern movie to be like.
Oh, we'll see what happens. The book is The Search for Bond: How the 007 Role Was Won and Lost. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. All the best. Thank you.
Take care.